Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 28th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Gentry.
Present.
Becky McClure.
Present.
Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting in May. Are there any changes to those minutes? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Alan, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, on to department head reports. First up is Police Department, Chief Morgan.
Good evening, board members. Since our last meeting in May, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 1,826 calls for service. A total of 51 people were arrested for the following crimes: 9 for operating while intoxicated, 21 were wanted on warrants, 7 for possession of meth, 2 for possession of narcotics, 1 for possession of marijuana, 1 for possession of cocaine, 1 for dealing marijuana, 1 for dealing narcotics, 2 for neglect of dependents, 1 felon in possession of a firearm, 1 for invasion of privacy, 1 auto theft, 1 resisting law enforcement, 1 intimidation, 1 strangulation. That seems like a lot, but you have to remember we skipped a board meeting, so take that, divide it in half, and that'd be normal. Same time frame, 20 handgun carry licenses were sent out to the state for final approval. Lebanon Police Department crime scene investigator Colleen Brandenberry partnered with Annie Green of Whitestown PD to provide a 24-hour instruction on our gun liaison initiative. Officers Tim Edmonds, Grady Robertson, Tyler Winnings are now gun liaisons, and the gun liaisons are used to collect evidence specific to firearms cases and investigations of crimes involving firearms. Sergeant Justin Knox, officers Frank Nolan, Andrew Hampshire, Austin McCloskey, Caleb Vickery, Mike Custis, and Cameron Thomas volunteered to serve as bicycle patrol officers for the Boone County Summerfest event. There were 0 incidences that law enforcement had to intervene in, which is good. The Lebanon Police Department hosted Rebecca Lesh of the Boone County Prosecutor's Office as she instructed area law enforcement officers over a 3-day period on updates to the Jake Laird Law. The Jake Laird Law allows for law enforcement to seize and retain firearms of mentally ill people who are considered to be a danger to themselves or the community. LPD hosted a planning meeting for the upcoming 4th of July celebration. Agencies that attended were the Police Department, Fire Department, Parks Department, Street Department, Sheriff's Office, Health Department, and the 4th of July Committee. During the meeting, the special event operations, safety concerns, traffic control, and coordinating between the agencies were discussed, getting it all planned out for the 4th. Officers are learning to program and deploy our mobile signs that you see, the electronic signs and the lighted signboard and the mobile radar. One of the signboards was malfunctioning due to corrosion, probably from sitting outside during the rain and stuff, because we leave it out even if it rains. But we got it fixed and it's back up and running, so you'll see those out more often. See one down there by Bill's house. June 14th to the 18th, LPD hosted AGS's Basic Sniper Observer course on our range, and since we hosted it, we were able to put Frank Nolan through it at no cost to the city. Then last, as you can see, since June 1st, we are sporting our new body cams. We got those all up and running. They're in the cars also. We had some minor issues at the beginning, but we got them all worked out, and they're up and running.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the Chief from the board?
Chief, are they taking prisoners in the jail? Yeah, they are now?
Yep.
Okay.
Alan?
Yeah, I don't have a question. I just have a comment. Now that school's out, summer's here,
We've got a lot of kids on the streets and they're out. A lot of pedestrian traffic as well as vehicular traffic and golf cart traffic.
Right.
This week is a special week for Lebanon with the 4th of July. We're going to have visitors from out of town. A lot of our people are going to be out, so that's going to be an increased safety issue. I just make a plea to the public to be extra sensitive and careful so that we can all have a safe and enjoyable 4th of July weekend.
Yeah. We'll have extra officers out too. As it gets closer to the 4th, we'll put extra guys on the road, try and slow people down.
Great. Any other questions for the chief?
No.
Any questions for the public? Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Next up is Fire Department, Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Public Works and Safety meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 317 emergency calls for service, logged 464 training hours, performed 18 commercial pre-plans, and completed 97 commercial inspections. On May 26, firefighter Zach Ruart completed his car seat technician recertification course. On May 29th through June 4th, firefighter Sam Doherty participated with the Hoosier Burn Camp. This is his 9th year as a camp counselor. Can't say enough about Sam and his dedication to this project. It's just a great experience for child to adolescent burn survivors. It's a great environment for them, and we're always happy to send Sam, and we get great reviews back from him. And we also have other firefighters that participate as well. They use our ATV. It's a great organization, and we're happy to be a part of it. During the month of May, I completed Indiana's first standalone Instructor 2 state certification course. This was hosted by the Pike Township Fire Department. And also, the week of June 7th, I was chosen by the Indiana Fire Instructors Association to participate in a national 1403 class. 1403 is the NFPA standard that governs live fire training. So I was able to attain my national certification in that. I'm just very thankful that the Indiana Fire Instructors Association chose me and covered the tuition, so it was very humbling. On Saturday, June 19th, LFD conducted an in-service with the Lifeguards of the Lebanon Pool. They discussed CPR refresher and any emergencies lifeguards may come across during their time on duty. It was a great experience. I know our Tyler Gary and Sam Doherty just do an amazing job with our CPR program. They had a very enjoyable time. I talked with John Messenger, and he felt like it was a very favorable experience for everyone. On Monday, June 21st, crews from White Sound and Lebanon poured the concrete pad for the new flashover chamber at the Boone County Training Tower. All the site work and concrete preparation was all sweat equity between the departments to save taxpayer dollars. An update on our hiring process: we completed the ladder climb portion of the hiring process on June 22nd. We now have a top 18 list of candidates, and they will begin their background check and reference checks starting next week. Our goal is to get it down to a top 5, and then we'll be reaching out to the Board of Public Works and Safety to set up an interview process. And finally, we'd like to thank Zora's Towing and Kurt Connect. They just continue to be great public safety partners with us. They donated their time and equipment to set our new flashover chamber, and this is just the first of many, or a number of times that they've really stepped up and helped us. This keeps taxpayer dollars down by not having to rent a crane. They bring in their rotator wrecker. So I want to say something about just how great of a partner they are to the city of Lebanon. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief on the board?
No.
Any questions for the public? Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is Parks Department, John Messenger.
Good evening. I want to thank Chuck and his guys as far as the Seashore Water Park. You'd be so proud to see these gentlemen come out and teach these life-saving skills. All the lifeguards have been through CPR, defibrillator, all that with their training. They're certified. Chuck's group came out and went through infant, adult, and young adult, how to resuscitate. We have in-services every 2 weeks, but that was one that boy, it took me, and I'm so proud to be a part of the city and to see those young men come out and train all our guards. They have that training, but just another step in there, and I just can't say enough of how proud I am, and his guys are just so professional, and we got a lot out of it. Hopefully we'll never have to use those skills, but just a proud moment. And normally you do this in your CPR class for a couple minutes. Well, we actually went through, these guys said, you got to do this for 7 minutes. It could take 7 minutes. And to see these kids and how serious they took it, along with their instruction, was just, it was just fantastic. Can't say enough about it, how proud I am of the fire department and what they did. Getting on with it, Seashore Water Park staying really busy, extremely busy, reaching capacity within hours of opening. I think one was 45 minutes. Unbelievable. We're still at half capacity because we're in yellow, and until that gets released, which I'm hoping this week it'll be released, we can open it back up a little bit more. But that means when people leave. So they've been waiting 1 and 2 and 3 hours to get in our water park, which is great, but also concerning. We're still selling season pool passes, and our pool parties are fully booked for the 2021 season. Poor Jack's Amusement pulled in to the parks Saturday, and will open up tomorrow, Tuesday 29th through July 4th. Open 6 p.m. daily, and I think 2 or 4 o'clock on the 4th of July. It'll be after the parade they'll open up. The parade will start Saturday at 1 p.m. There again, we'll have the same routine coming from the high school, and I'll be speaking to you later about closure. But as far as that, please do not mark your spots with tarps or blankets out at the park. That tends to kill the grass, and we really care about our grass out there. But it's also just wait and be respectful. We'll place picnic tables and trash cans along Newell Drive, all along there, so there'll be plenty for everybody. Just be respectful with each other and clean up your area before you leave. That'll help us out tremendously. We all have the day off on Monday, but we'll be in cleaning up the park, so it'll look good for everybody come the next day. As Alan said, there's a lot of people in town, so just be respectful of each other.
Hey, John, you didn't
yes,
say
sir.
how early people could be out there with their spots?
4 o'clock on Saturday. It's always 4 o'clock p.m. the day before. I'm sure there will be a lot of people out there much earlier on Saturday, but our ticket is 4 o'clock the night before. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of picnickers early on Saturday.
Just want to make sure it's in the
Be
record, that's all.
respectful with your spaces, yeah. If you notice, 4 o'clock's when we kind of close the door to the office. There might be something in there for that. And that Chad can deal with that after that. We have removed several trees from the park, making sure there's safety along the parade route, and also all the patrons will be barraged with this week. Replace the asphalt there again, from the baseball diamond at Memorial Park all the way down in the parking lot. They did an outstanding job. People want to know, what's that light green path there? That is to corral all the walkers and to keep them safe. Again, we have 8 feet of walking path. It is called, I don't know, bike pedestrian safety green. We'll keep that there. We're going to line the sides of it with flower boxes instead of the orange cones to differentiate from the walking side to the driver's side. We'll have some wave petunias, some other things, and Becky will probably give us recommendations on that. It might be something that we work into a program too, where you can actually donate some money to help keep these flower boxes, stick your name in it, what have you. That's just an idea, but we're corralling the people to get them to walk. There's 20 feet on the other side of driving area, plenty to pass back and forth. So just something that we're trying, and hopefully that'll work out good. There have been many events at the parks this month. I can go on and on with all of them, just a few. Colonial Days at Abner was just fantastic. We had the Buick Car Club from Kokomo, and this is, I think, their 3rd annual car show. There were hundreds of people for that, and cars. Ford Truck Show, I think we had a 5K in there. The annual fishing derby that the Kiwanis puts on at the Hop Pond, just outstanding. 100 kids, 150 kids, we stocked it. Nobody got the albino catfish, but I saw bass real good sized and everything else, and a lot of smiles. Just nice to see that out there. Very successful with all the great attendance that we've had. We want to remind everyone using our facilities, be mindful of our policies. Our ponds are catch and release. There's been talk where somebody's going in with netting and catching. DNR's been made aware of it, so if they're pulling these fish out early in the morning, you will get caught. We have cameras. We have an idea of some names, but it's in DNR's hands, and they will prosecute to the fullest. It is catch and release. Just be respectful. There's other people, and to see these kids light up when they catch the fish. There again, just want to also, DNR has a note out to everyone to remove your bird feeders, hummingbird feeders and all that. There's a disease out now hitting the birds, and until DNR comes up with it, please remove all your feeders. I know it sounds silly, but we got to protect the birds, and they aren't sure where it's coming from till they can identify what's causing these diseases, and for them to correct, they want you to remove all these bird feeders in Indiana. So yeah, I think it's hitting starlings, robins, bluebirds, so if you could remove those, hummingbirds. I also want to do a shout out to the utilities. Dustin Shirley and Jeff McNew and their crew came out today. With the carnival coming in, there's some wiring issues. We're kind of rusty since we didn't have the 4th of July and the carnival last year. They came right out on a moment's notice and spent a couple hours and really worked at it to help us with our electrical issues. They're always Johnny on the spots, and we sure appreciate them a lot, along with all the departments and their help. But another note too, I'll add, we're having some issues with young teenagers, and well, we even had a 30 and a 60-year-old woman arguing over lawn or the chairs in the pool. But if they aren't respectful, they will be removed and not allowed back in our water park, along with any facility. Be respectful, be mindful of who you are and what you're doing, who you're hanging with. But we've had to remove several, and it's just the start of summer. You got a couple months left before school starts. We won't tolerate the bad behavior, and we will remove you. We'll get your parents, make sure that you aren't allowed in any parks. And I hate to do that, but I can't have the foul language and the abuses that they're doing to our parks. So just want to give everybody a fair warning. It's one shot. You ruin that, and you've ruined your summer. So just want to put that out there.
Thanks, John. Any questions from the board?
No?
Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. Next up is Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Good evening, board members. Updates, downtown Montgomery Ward parking lot. That asphalt should be wrapped up tomorrow. Really, it's been done for a little while, but we had to fix some problems with drainage in the alley on the north side, back up against the Heflin building. That should be wrapped up in the morning sometime, and that will complete the asphalt work. Striping is complete. New bench, new trash can have been placed. Thank you to John and the Parks Department for helping take delivery and installation of that. Landscaping along State Road 32 is now complete. We've ordered some parking bumpers to help protect that landscaping. Those should be in the next 2 weeks. Signage has been manufactured, and the signs will be installed on the fencing once the fencing is complete. Fencing for the trailhead restroom is expected to go in July. We have yet to hear a definitive date yet, but we are looking for a schedule update any day now from the fencing contractor. And then there is a bike rack on order that will go next to the bench and the trash can. Last update was that the bike rack would be here sometime mid-August. Other updates around town, pavement resurfacing. We held our pre-construction meeting on June 16th. Construction is scheduled to be beginning late July. Streets all over town, about 19 different street segments. The contractors will be responsible for putting up road construction ahead and closure date signs up to at least a week before closure is to happen. There'll also be small yard signs put in along the parking areas to make sure people are brought up to speed on those things as well. Also, let everyone know that the roads will remain open to traffic. There just will be some caution, some flaggers out there getting you through the construction zones. We also started last week some block patching in various areas around town, thanks to the street department for help coordinating that. Thomas Drive, West Main Street, Ping Avenue, Indianapolis Avenue, a couple of sections of Richardson. So those are some of our smaller scale block patching work that's also happening as we speak. I got a really good update about State Road 32 and State Road 39 late last week. The state has now agreed to install the traffic signals. I don't have a date as to when they will go up, but they will go up. They are going up on a temporary basis, but temporary for the state of Indiana is 3 years. So that is, sorry to say, but that's because that's how long the interstate will be under construction through Lebanon. So we've got a long way ahead of us on the I-65 construction project. Now, in that time period, if we do meet the traffic generation requirements at the Gateway Marketplace project, then they'll be able to stay up permanently, but they are being installed on a temporary basis. And I'm happy to report, nothing that I can announce officially, but there are new projects that are under contract now for the Gateway Marketplace that should put us over that threshold within that 3-year time period. Whit Road Bridge, wrapping up one last right-of-way parcel acquisition. Our legal counsel has sent all the documents over to the other parties' attorneys for execution, so hopefully we'll see that. Hopefully we'll see it before the 4th of July, and then we can finish up all of our utility relocation, which the bulk of that has already started, and most of it's been complete at this point. Remind everyone that work, including the road closure, is not expected to start until September. While we're talking about bridges, the Elmwood Bridge, we continue to work through utility coordinations and Historic Preservation Office coordination on that bridge between Elmwood and Newell. Also, another bridge to talk about on the William Street Bridge, or Bridge 311 as it's referred to by the county. I want to remind everyone that there is an early morning concrete pour set for this Wednesday. They will begin pouring the concrete on the bridge deck at 4:30 a.m. We're probably done by noon, but they need to get an early start so they can get all those trucks into town with the concrete before traffic starts picking up. So they are asking that everyone refrain from parking on William Street during that time, just to make it run smoothly. They have, the contractor sent out letters to each individual owner on that street, as well as tenants on that street. And so it should go smoothly, but it will be a little bit of a headache for those living in the area. The bridge is scheduled to be closed until August 15th, open up just in time for school to start. Active living programs, cost share programs continue. Right now we're really focused on Syracuse Drive, where Lebanon Utilities has replaced the water main. We're working on basically the opposite side of the streets of where they're replacing sidewalks. It's over their water main. So that will continue. Also on the active living front, happy to report that Sylvia's Child Advocacy Center has agreed to take over the Bicycle Pedal Parade. So this has been a city program for a number of years, and we're happy to have some other partners with us to conduct that event, which will be held on July 3rd. On the Big Four Trail, our first Next Level Trail reimbursement application has been submitted, and our first quarterly report has also been submitted. So that project is moving forward. Our Brownfield program, a quick update there. We have expended all $300,000 of our grant program, which, to remind everyone, was for testing and cleanup of old petroleum sites, old gas station sites. So we've spent the entire $300,000 from our last award. We will be going in for the next grant cycle. We're only going for about $100,000 because most of the sites have been cleaned at this point. So we want to make sure we're not getting too much money in that grant program, but it's been a successful program. Fordyce Street appraisals are all complete now. Right-of-way buying will be beginning shortly. Utility work plans should be going out this week for utility relocations. Final plans are expected to be completed on September 15th. Right-of-way is expected to be completed by the 31st of October. And then we are scheduled to open bids on November 23rd, and with construction next spring in April. Stone Eater Bike Park, just quick updates that we're continuing to work on drainage approvals with the current county surveyor's office. as well as erosion control and stockpiling permits through Boone County Soil and Water Conservation District. Our consultants have made resubmittals to those entities in the last week as well. And then just a few construction updates around the city. Auburn Meadows Section 3, curbs are going down. Sunbrook Section 3 has started mass earthwork. Key Car Wash is working on site work and foundations. Autumn Trace is working on rough grading. The Airstream dealership has now went vertical with their construction, Woodland Airstream. And New Cold has been going vertical for some time, but they continue to work on that building as well.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Any questions for Kevin from the board?
I have a comment. Kevin, I want to personally thank you for your involvement in getting a fix on that 32 and Southeast Street. The
Yeah.
sidewalk and the curb looks good.
Yeah,
Fix the-
appreciate that.
fix the- yeah,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from the public? Okay, thanks, sir. Next up is Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. Planning Department continues to remain busy. Over the last couple of weeks, we did 21 additional building inspections and issued 22 permits. What's not shown in our permit report, though, is about 2.5 weeks ago, we did get 7 residential permits submitted to our office, which is good news. And then just today, we got 5 additional after this, we put these numbers together. So we are seeing some release of some of the lots in the community, but there's still this interesting tug of war happening right now. As we all have talked about, there's significant pent-up demand for residential housing and a restricted supply that's available. We do have some supply available, but then even for those lots that we do have available, they're having troubles getting the materials to build the homes because there's so much demand in all markets right now that there's not enough supply of materials to build the homes. So a lot of builders, in fact, we talked to one on Friday, said that they're telling people right now if they signed up to build a house right now, it may be a year before they could get into their home. So there's just not enough supply of lots and or materials to build all the homes to meet the demand right now. So that there's going to continue to be that push and pull right there, for a period of time. Hopefully it'll level off before too long. And we do have a number of additional neighborhoods and or lots that are underway. So hopefully we can start providing some additional inventory outside of Sunbrook and Sunbrook Villas are 2 active right now. Auburn Meadows has their Section 3 under construction. Fisher Homes will start construction later this year. So we'll have some additional inventory over the next 12 months coming online. But right now, we don't have enough inventory by far to meet demand, nor the materials to build those homes once we can even get the lots available. So we're still working through that. We've got a number of builders that are looking in the Lebanon market, frankly, the Boone County market, to try to bring some additional inventory to this market. So that's over the next 12 months, we're going to see a lot of churn in the market and some additional lots come on inventory. Just right now, we just can't meet the demand or come anywhere close to it. In terms of code enforcement, again, very busy there. Summer season is typically our particularly busy season, because you add the grass and weeds, and trash is a lot more visible during the summertime than the wintertime. So a lot of activity there, doing a lot of follow-ups, a lot of re-inspections, so they continue to remain very busy. And we continue to try to find ways to be more efficient, both from the back office perspective, how to manage code enforcement, then also how to address complaints as we get them. So we're looking at various ways to do that and continue to remain efficient and just be able to address more and more complaints as they come in, and also becoming more proactive about going out and looking for issues that are fairly regular issues. We do have a couple of items on the agenda, the council's agenda tonight. We have a single-family project that's looking in the northeast part of the community, sandwiched between Chadwick and Auburn Meadows. That'll be on the council agenda tonight for rezone. And then we also have a multifamily project that's looking at North Lebanon Street that needs an alley vacation request that's on tonight. So those are 2 projects that'll hopefully we can get some of those issues finalized over the next month or so, and so they can start construction later this year. I do know in the case of the single-family residential neighborhood, it will be on a fast track if they can get everything worked out. They want to be under construction by fall, start moving earth. So a lot of things happening right now, and a lot more things to come. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions for Ben from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thanks, sir. Next is Street and Stormwater Department, Dave Newell.
How's everybody doing? Glad we could have a meeting this week, get called back up. We've been pretty busy mowing vacant properties and code violation, keeping us real busy on that. So trying to help out code, I guess, and get that done. in case you haven't been around, I'm sure you have, we have some new flashing speed limit signs. We have 2 of them on Newell Drive by the park area where the pedestrians cross, and we have 2 on East Noble by the hot pond. Got a little bit of trouble with the first 2. They forgot to program them or something, but they're really good about helping us getting back going, so they're working great. And the one that we was having problems with, charging, is working good too. So those should help slow down traffic. I mean, we did a study on them, and it shows that when they start showing the speed, people cram on the brakes. So between those and our people and all that, we should be good to go. Just anything we can do to help out with, the pedestrian traffic, that's what it's for. We did a pretty good, the storm crew did a pretty big job over there on William Street. We went ahead and installed some new structures and a pipe over there while the bridge was down. We went ahead, because it's where the buses come out, so we tried to attack it while they already had the road down, which worked out great. Should be paved this week. Triangle's going to help us out with that. A little bit bigger than we can do with our little rollers, so we got them involved as well. You guys did a great job on it. That was a pretty big project. Now, they've been pretty busy cleaning out, or trying to keep the catch basins clean. We've had quite a bit of rain here lately. Miss, I guess, hit and miss, but it seems like when it does come, it's pretty big. But they're doing a good job of that. Our last brush week of June 7th through the 11th, we picked up 32,380 pounds of brush. So, but it is going pretty good. I mean, people are catching on. Well, I say that, and then you drive around town, there's brush everywhere. But the ones that we are informing are realizing we're doing it once a week, 1 week a month, and they're catching on. We still let them bring it in if they got it. We just, got to be a little firm with them and tell them to wait, and they don't usually like it, but they're doing it. So the ones once they're informed about it. Our next brush week will be July 12th through the 16th. So that's coming up. The rest of the schedule for the 21 season from April to October is obviously July 12th through the 16th, August 9th through the 13th, September 13th through 17th, and we'll wrap it up October 11th through the 15th. Other than that, the guys have been working hard, and I'm proud of them. They do a good job. So That's all we got.
Any questions for Dave from the board? Anything from the public? Okay, thanks, sir.
Yep. I guess I could add to that we will be out taking care of the parade route.
Okay.
But they went around today and squared up and patched any holes we had for walkers and all that. But we'll take the brush truck down that path, and then the sweeper will be following it. So, and the sweeper goes out the same week as the brush. So.
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
And last but not least, Communications, Community Development, Joe LePage.
Evening, everyone. I'd like to begin with a brief thank you. This is in regards to Boone County Summerfest. Big thank you to all those who attended, who performed, who set up shop as one of our vendors, and of course our volunteers. Lebanon Fire, Lebanon Police were both out in force to be able to have the fire engine as kind of a petting zoo, and also have law enforcement officials there to be kind of seen and interact with the public. Also, we had street barriers, so big thank you to our street department, and trash cans from our parks department, and big thanks to the planning office who allowed us to have Matt Reynolds for the entire weekend as a volunteer. So those were in short supply, so we very much appreciate it. And thank you to all of you who took time to fill out our survey, our post-event survey. As many of you know, this is the first year of what we feel could be a yearly event in this Boone County Summerfest. We were able to solicit and get some helpful tips, also some suggestions, and looking forward to implementing those if and when we go on to year 2 of the Summerfest event. We are currently working on the first of the marketing materials. We have a rough draft of kind of a video. There was a marketing agency that was at the event who took a video, so we will be releasing that first one to the public pretty soon, a recap video, but looking forward to having much more of that marketing material going forward. Shifting gears a little bit more artistic, less musically inclined, more arts and crafts, so to speak. The finishing touches are taking place on the design of the mural along Indianapolis Avenue. I brought a picture, a little show and tell time. This is not the final drawing or image, but want to give kind of a brief synopsis of what looks great, doesn't it? Doesn't go home as well as it looks up here. Anyway, if you can see this, this is on Indianapolis Avenue. Lafayette Avenue. Why did I say Indianapolis Avenue? Lafayette Avenue. This is kind of taking on a tongue-in-cheek, fun underwater approach. You'll notice the scuba diver on the right side of the mural there. he is holding a needle and thread. So behind him is a spool of thread that you'll be able to see. And so it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek. The shark is actually a stuffed animal that the diver has stitched together. You'll notice the folded underwater boat there. It's kind of with the mast that is painted, but you can see the lines of the paper, the notebook paper. There's also a large octopus, a stuffed octopus, that will also be implemented into that mural design. And so we've been working with our local artists, Scott Trafford in particular of Skill Illustrated. He was the artist behind the mural, the Lebanon Youth Council mural that is on the Big Four Trail, not far from the trailhead over on Sam Ralston Road. And so looking forward to being able to get that pushed out, working on financials of that, regardless of the image or the location of the 5 different murals that we've been working with CSX to be able to put murals on. There'll be community painting days with each of them. And so as you may imagine, the road will need to be closed for a portion of the time that those murals are being put up. But we're going to be soliciting help from the public to come out and be able to paint portions of that. Even for those of us who are not artistically inclined, we can still paint within the lines and paint this color and still be okay without having to wreck the whole thing. So I want to be able to incorporate the public as much as possible to kind of get more art injected into our community. So we look forward to doing that in the days and weeks to come. Speaking of art, Tiger number 20 is now in the hands of our Parks Department. Its name is Cleat. It comes from the Lebanon High School. It looks so great. It was very well done by the Lebanon High School folks. And so Cleat is going in for his wheels and getting its coating, thanks to our Parks Department for that. And then once Cleat is finished, Cleat will be put out to the public. We'll also, once we have all 20, we'll be unveiling our webpage, our Tiger Trail webpage. And so this will be the first information with all 20 tigers all in one place and where you can find them, a little bit about each tiger on each one. Then we'll add more interactive pieces along the way, along that trail to add to the experience. As far as events go, coming up tomorrow, Lebanon City Market is from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. That's on Main Street, the Big Four Trail. The market is red, white, and blue theme. Wear your red, white, and blue and have some fun at our market. Some great vendors and great people out there. And then coming up on July 20th, wanted to pass this along as well. The city is partnering with the Boone County 4-H to be able to provide a hot air balloon ride for this year's 4-H fair experience. And so the This Is Home hot air balloon ride will take place July 20th during Fair Week. And so similar to what you've seen at Conner Prairie, it's not going to take you all around the city, but it will get you up in the stratosphere a little bit to be able to feel what it's like to be part of a hot air balloon ride. And so thankful to Mr. Mustin for reaching out to the city for the opportunity and then being able to provide that to our community as well.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? Anything from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, that concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. I don't have anything on my agenda. Is there anything from the board? Okay.
No.
Next is new business then. First up is a street closure request for the Heart of Lebanon events. Missy Krulik.
Good evening, Missy Krulik with the Heart of Lebanon. I was hoping that I was done with these, but unfortunately, we had to cancel our vintage camper rally that was June 18th. Had some severe storms come through, so we wanted to make sure that our campers were going to be safe overnight, so we postponed that event. We have decided to reschedule that for July 30th, which is a Friday. That's when we'll have Moonshine Mary playing on the plaza from 7:30 to 9:30. We'll have camping games and s'mores for the public. So I'm asking tonight for the street closure, same street closure of Meridian Street from Main Street to Washington Street for July 30th from 6 p.m. to July 31st, which is a Saturday, to noon. So the campers can go eat breakfast at a local establishment and then come and pack up and head out. So, and if they head out earlier than noon, then I'll open the street earlier. So just want to make sure it's safe for them to pack up and move their campers out. So.
Okay. Any questions for the board on that?
Is this the same time we had the last time set up? I know it's not the date, but the same time.
No, I was running it to 6 p.m. on the Saturday, hoping that they would stick around and enjoy the downtown, but most of them had indicated that they needed to pull out for other things on Saturday. So just decided to move it back to noon.
Okay, so that's actually shorter than before?
Yeah, it's shorter.
Okay. Any other questions from the board on that? Okay, would entertain a motion to approve the street closure request of Meridian Street from Main to Washington on July 30th from 6 PM to noon on July 31st.
I'll make a motion, we approve the street closure of Meridian from Main to Washington Street for 6 PM on July 30th to noon on July 31st.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Bill, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you, Missy. All right, next up is a street closure request from the 4th of July Committee. John Messenger. I'm guessing this is for the parade?
Yes, it is. Good evening, John Messenger, Executive Committee for the 4th of July. My request tonight is for a couple of things. 8 a.m. on the parade route. I would like no parking on all the streets that have parking. There again, the parade route, let me start with it. We'll be going from the high school, north on Outer Drive, and then west on Newell Drive, down to Meridian Street, south on Meridian, all the way to Main Street, east on Main, all the way to East Street, go north on East Street, all the way to Tiger Way, and then east back into the high school. And I think the ones that have parking are Outer, Meridian, and East Street, and Main Street. I don't believe Tiger Way, and Dave will probably correct me, am I right, Dave? No parking on Tiger Way. So if we could have no parking from 8 a.m. on, that will help clear the streets. And then like the closure of the parade at 12:30 until it's over, and we'll release them after we go through each of these streets. Kind of the same thing that we do every year. That we didn't get to last year.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Or it wasn't, or that, or when we reconstruct East Street too, right? One of those two.
That's true. That's right.
Any questions for John on the street closure request?
No, you want to start, John, at 8 a.m. for the no parking until when? What's the end
Until
time?
after the parade
After
is passed.
what?
Call it
Probably
2 o'clock?
2 o'clock, 2:30?
2, 3 o'clock until after the parade passes. That's what I'd say, because there's gaps. There's always gaps, right?
How about 3 o'clock? Is that all right?
That's great.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, we just do a motion as presented? Does that work? Is that long enough? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the street closure request and the no parking request as presented by John.
I make a motion that we approve it as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. And next up,
Could I,
Oh.
one thing, I wanted to thank you, Mayor. We had another container that went out today. The Parks Department helped load it up, and it's going to Africa, to the Malawi project, something dear and near to my brother's heart and others. But you just changed a lot of lives. You helped them out with a lot of medical needs and everything. Another container going out tomorrow. We did it in 35 minutes, and you allowed the Parks Department to do that. Changed a lot of lives, and thank you very much for that. That's huge. I think, Alan, you've heard this, talk. It's a great project, and thank you very much.
these things say yes to. All right, next up is Danielle from That Sports Bar.
Hello. I'm looking to close down the road in front of the bar again. I don't know if I can ask for 3 separate dates or if I need to come back next month, but specifically July 24th, we're doing a fundraiser for the Special Olympics, and we were hoping we could close down the road to do that.
So you said you have multiple events, right?
Yeah.
We can just do them all tonight,
Sweet.
right? So it's Smith Street, correct? Is it?
Yes,
is always
yes,
from
Smith Street.
32 to Main Street, right?
I think
Is that
that's
right?
Main
Is that
Street,
correct?
yeah. I was looking for July 21st, and that's 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's a real short amount of
Okay.
time. And then August 21st, from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m., we're doing a summer block party. We're going to be bringing in truckloads of sand. We're going to have a dunk tank, inflatable obstacle course, all the fun stuff.
You said
And then-
August what? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
August what?
I'm sorry, August 21st.
August 21st, okay.
And then August 29th, we're doing a car show.
Okay.
So that would be from we said 10 a.m. to probably 3 p.m. is more than enough.
Again, this is the very small street there between 32 and Main Street, right there adjacent to the parking lot. So any questions on those?
What was the time again on the 21st of August?
2 p.m. to 11 p.m.
2 p.m. to 11.
Okay. All good? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve the street closure requests for Smith Street on July 24th, August 21st, and August 29th as presented.
I'll make a motion, we approve the street closure of Smith Street between State Road 32 or South Street and Main Street on July 24th. I'm sorry, I thought I wrote that time down. What was the time?
August
From 2 p.m. to
21st.
6 p.m.
2 p.m. to when?
6
Six.
p.m.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
It's 24th.
And then August 21st from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then August 29th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those are approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Danielle. Okay, and last up, Lebanon Police Department, Chief Morgan. We have some policy changes that he's presenting to us tonight.
Hi again. So if you guys remember when I brought the SOGs and had you guys read all of them, I warned you then that there'd be changes coming. We haven't even got them all out yet, and we've got 5 that need to be changed and need your signature. I sent them to you last week. Did everybody get the chance to review them and see the changes? If not, I can try and go through them with you or answer any questions you have.
I would just present them briefly just for the public, just the public knows. what
Okay.
the-
So the first 4 I'm going to go through are changed due to the environment going on currently with the police officers and them trying to clean things up a little bit, to put it nicely. So let's start with the conductive energy. That's our tasers, right? There was an incident a few months back where an officer accidentally shot somebody meaning to grab a taser. So our policy has changed. They're allowed to carry them on their strong side, their gun side, but they have to be turned backwards. That way, the officer can't accidentally grab their gun thinking they're grabbing the taser. So that's what that one is covering on that first page. There's 7 changes in that policy. That's the first one on it. Then the next change is you're not supposed to use your taser in a deadly force situation. Page 4 on the policy I gave you is if we're assisting another agency and we use a taser, we have to submit a report to that agency. And then on page 5, medics don't really want to take the tasers out of people anymore, so we have to have our officers trained, so only trained officers are allowed to take the prongs out of an officer or out of a suspect if it's been used. So that went from having a medical personnel do it to officers can do it as long as they're trained. And then the next part is on the evidence part. Any photographs shall be placed into evidence and noted. And then there's a line under that the SRT, our special response team, they have a separate guideline that they have to follow, and they have to follow that one. So it's just worded in here. So those were the additions to that policy that weren't in there before. So we have 4 more to go through. The records maintenance and release on page 4 of that one, if you have it in front of you. Security breaches has been added to it. Any member who becomes aware that any Lebanon Police Department system has been subject to a cyber security incident should notify the records manager as soon as practical. So that was added. Then on personal complaints, That's on the last page of that one. Let me get to it. Okay, so this one is dealing with notifications of Law Enforcement Training Board. In law enforcement in the past, if we had a troubled officer, an officer who was a problem, and they either went their own way or we got rid of them, we weren't allowed to disclose that to other departments if they called. Now we will report it to the Law Enforcement Training Board. So other departments can check and make sure that this officer that they're bringing wasn't a troublemaker here. So that's the change on that one. And then the vehicle use, that's on page 3, that change. And what we did was we added in a policy that has been in place since Rick Hale was chief, but it was never written down. It was a verbal policy. And what it does is basically give admin and investigations the right to go outside the donut counties in the state of Indiana because they're subject to being called back at any time for important calls, big call outs or stuff like that. Investigations and admin have to come back. And by them being able to take their duty vehicle and do this, I can make it mandatory that they come back if they're in it. So that's on page 3 if you guys want to read it.
Okay.
The last one, recruitment and selection, that's on page 2. Entire employment file for law enforcement agencies that have employed or currently employ a law enforcement officer candidate, including findings and orders related to prior disciplinary actions or internal investigation. That's, that can be, no, now that goes along with that other policy that I just read to you. So, there's going to be, as they keep reforming us, these are going to keep changing. The laws may not change yet, but the attorneys still feel like it's best practice. So we do what the attorneys tell us is best.
Okay. Any questions for Chief on those proposed policy changes?
No.
Any public comment on those proposed policy changes? Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve the standard operating guidelines for the police department as presented.
I'd make a motion to approve the policy changes as presented to the police department.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those are approved. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from the board?
Nope.
Okay, move on to the claims then, and we'll entertain a motion concerning the claims.
I make a motion we approve the claims.
We have a motion to approve the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those claims are approved. Any announcements or discussion? Any public comment?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Our next Board of Works meeting will be July 12th at 5:30 PM, and City Council will be up next.